There was a time when television was mostly something people watched at night. News came at a set hour. Courtrooms were serious places far away from entertainment. Criminal cases were reported in newspapers, discussed by journalists, and followed by those who cared about law and justice. Then one trial changed everything. It turned a courtroom into a national stage. It turned lawyers into celebrities. It turned evidence into television drama. It turned public opinion into a daily argument. And it showed the world that a criminal case could become more than a legal process. It could become a media event. This was the trial of O.J. Simpson. To some, it was a murder trial. To others, it was a story about fame, race, police power, celebrity culture, domestic violence, money, media, and justice. But for television, it became something even bigger. It became a turning point, a moment when millions of people stopped their daily lives to watch a courtroom, a moment when news and entertainment began to blur, a moment when America realized that real life could become the most powerful show on television. Before the trial, O.J. Simpson was not an unknown man. He was famous. He had been a football star, a record-breaking athlete, a television personality, a movie actor, and a familiar face in American homes. He was not just someone people had heard about. He was someone many people felt they knew. That fame mattered, because when a famous person falls into a criminal case, the story becomes bigger than the facts alone. The public does not only ask what happened, it asks how someone so admired could be connected to something so dark. For years, Simpson had been seen as charming, successful, and accepted in mainstream celebrity culture. He appeared in commercials. He acted in films. He smiled on television. He represented success, comfort, and fame. Then in June 1994, everything changed. Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman were found dead outside Nicole's home in Los Angeles. The crime shocked the public. It was brutal, frightening, and immediately surrounded by questions. Very quickly, attention turned toward O.J. Simpson, Nicole's ex-husband. The story spread across America. But what made this case different was not only the crime. It was the person accused, the city where it happened, and the moment in media history when it unfolded. Los Angeles was already a city shaped by cameras, celebrity, police tension, and racial division. Just a few years earlier, the beating of Rodney King and the Los Angeles riots had exposed deep anger and distrust between communities and law enforcement. So when the Simpson case began, it entered a country already full of tension. It was never going to be just a normal trial. Then came the chase. On June 17, 1994, millions of people watched a white Ford Bronco move slowly along Los Angeles freeways while police followed behind. Television networks interrupted regular programming. News helicopters followed from above. People stood along highways. Viewers sat in their living rooms, unable to look away. It was not a movie. It was happening live. That is what made it unforgettable. When the courtroom proceedings began, the country was already hooked. Cameras were allowed inside the courtroom, and that decision changed everything. Viewers could watch the trial as it happened. They could see the judge, the lawyers, the witnesses, the defendant, the reactions, the arguments, and the mistakes. The courtroom became a stage. Judge Lance Ito became a familiar figure. Prosecutors Marcia Clark and Christopher Darden became household names. Defense attorneys Johnny Cochran, Robert Shapiro, F. Lee Bailey, and others became part of what the media called the Dream Team. The trial had characters. It had conflict. It had dramatic moments. It had surprise. Race became one of the central issues. Many Black Americans remembered years of police abuse, discrimination, and distrust in the justice system. Many white Americans looked at the evidence and saw a different story. Public opinion split sharply, and the trial became a mirror showing how differently people experienced the same country. This is why the case became so powerful. People were not only watching a trial, they were watching their own beliefs. They were watching their fears, anger, history, and distrust play out on national television. For some viewers, the case was about domestic violence and the tragic deaths of Nicole Brown, Simpson, and Ronald Goldman. For others, it became a test of police honesty and legal fairness. For others, it was about celebrity privilege, wealth, and whether fame could change justice. The trial became a battle over meaning. The prosecution argued that the evidence pointed to Simpson. The defense challenged the investigation, questioned police conduct, and attacked the reliability of the evidence. The famous glove moment became one of the most remembered scenes in courtroom history, repeated endlessly in media coverage and public discussion. Every day the trial fed the machine. News programs needed updates. Talk shows needed opinions. Newspapers needed headlines. Viewers wanted more. The case became part of daily life. It was legal drama before true crime streaming. It was reality television before reality television fully took over. It was social media debate before social media existed. The audience did not just watch. They took sides. Then came the verdict. After O.J. Simpson, television never looked at the courtroom the same way. News networks understood that real trials could hold viewers for months. Producers understood that crime stories could become national events. Audiences became used to watching legal drama in real time. The line between public interest and spectacle became harder to see. The trial also helped shape the future of celebrity justice. After Simpson, every major celebrity scandal was judged not only in court, but in the media. Public image became part of legal strategy. Camera angles, press conferences, interviews, and headlines became part of the battle. A trial could be fought in front of a judge, but also in front of millions of viewers. It showed the power of television to bring people inside the justice system, but it also showed the danger of turning tragedy into spectacle. At the center of all the noise were two people who lost their lives: Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. Their deaths should never be forgotten beneath the fame. The cameras, the arguments, and the cultural debate. The media machine often made the trial feel like entertainment. But the case began with real loss, real grief, and families whose lives were changed forever. That is what makes this story so important. It is not only about O.J. Simpson. It showed that a legal case could dominate culture. It showed that millions of people could watch the same event and walk away believing completely different things. And it showed that once cameras enter the center of justice, history is no longer only written in court records. It is replayed, debated, edited, remembered, and judged by the public. The O.J. Simpson trial belongs to the 1990s, but its legacy is still alive today. We see it in true crime documentaries. We see it in non-stop legal coverage. We see it in celebrity trials. We see it in social media debates, where public opinion forms before all facts are known. The trial was a warning about the future, a future where news could become entertainment, where tragedy could become content, where fame could shape perception, where justice could be watched like a show, and where television could turn one courtroom into the center of the world. If you enjoyed this powerful journey into the trial that changed television forever, subscribe to Ancient Truth, where we explore the events, decisions, scandals, disasters, technologies, and hidden forces that shape the modern world. And before you go, comment below. Do you think televised trials help the public understand justice? Or do they turn tragedy into entertainment? Like this video, share it with someone who loves modern history, and stay with us for the next story that changed the world.